If you're new to photo or video production, it's likely that you don't know that there is actually a difference between a tripod head for photography and a tripod head for video. Now, the ball head that I've got here right now is one that just came on what is basically my favorite tripod under $100, and it is the main tripod that I use on a day-to-day basis. And there's a number of advantages for the ball head specifically for photography. And the first one is that it probably came with the tripod. So it is almost always a cheaper option, even though you can get ball heads that cost $400 or $500. You can get quite good ones for around $100. In all likelihood, if you bought a halfway decent tripod, you are going to have the ball head on the top of the tripod already. So that is a significant advantage. Video heads generally don't come on tripods. They're mostly bought separately. In most cases, a ball head is smaller, which just makes it a little bit more portable, a little bit lighter. Now, the video head that I'm going to show you today is actually kind of revolutionary. It is actually the smallest video head I've ever seen and possibly the smallest ever made or one of the smallest ever made. But even then, it is still a little bit heavier than the ball head that I've got here. Another advantage of the ball head is the fact that you can easily switch back and forth between landscape orientation and portrait orientation. And to do that, there's generally a little cutout on the side of the actual ball head, and you just loosen these little tightening knobs off, and now we are in portrait orientation. And then to go back into landscape orientation, we just swap it back up and tighten the adjustments back up. So switching back and forth between those two modes is very easy. You cannot do that with the video head. Another advantage for photography of the ball head is the fact that you can easily check your levels. And on this particular ball head, you've actually got level indicators on here and on here. So you can actually level the head just with the ball head. That means if you're on uneven ground, you just set up the tripod and you level the camera itself with the ball head. That is super easy and super adjustable. With the video head, you're going to have to do that by manually adjusting the legs or in some other way. So with the video head, you don't have that sort of easy, just set yourself up. If you're on level ground, you just level yourself with the actual head itself. Now, one thing that both of these have in common is they both have Arca Swiss plate adapters on the top. So if you've got a small rig cage or any Arca Swiss plate, you're not going to have to worry about like swapping the plate out. So I can actually swap from this one to this one and this one to this one. It is a universal mount and it works really well. So that is one thing that both of them share. And before I get over to the video head, I will be putting my best price links in the description down below, which will just take you through to the best price link for the actual whole tripod here, which includes the video head. This is my best tripod under $100 and the main one that I use most of the time, and also the independent video head. So this video head comes independently, and you can actually swap this video head to any standard tripod. So I can actually swap these two heads between these two tripods. So if you've got a tripod that you're happy with, but you just want to upgrade to the video head functionality, all you have to do is buy the video head, take your ball head off, and swap it on top of that tripod. Now, coming over to the video head, the biggest advantage of the video head is the fluid movement that you get and the way that you can use it while you're producing the video itself, while you're shooting the video footage itself. And I think a lot of people, when they think about getting fluid movements, the first thing they think about is probably a gimbal. The second thing they probably think about is a slider. But both of those things are much more expensive and much more complicated and use and set up compared to a simple video head, which will give you pretty much full access or full range of motion where you can add a lot of dynamic movement to your videos for not a lot of cost, not a lot of complexity, and not a lot of size, because particularly this video head is very, very small. And this particular head has an extending handle. So I just turn that, I stretch that out. Now I have sort of my full control. And the longer the lever, what the handle does for you is it creates a longer lever, which makes it easier to get smoother movement. It's just sort of the physics of the way it works. So the long handle extended like this just makes it easier to get smooth movement. Now, you don't have to use it fully extended. You can obviously use it in this orientation, but this leverage just makes it much easier to get super, super smooth movement. And one of the simplest ways to use this is just do a cinematic pan reveal. And we do that when we have something that we want to reveal and we've got it sort of right in front of us, and just off to the left, we've just got something, another bit of interest or something moving, maybe moving towards the thing we want to reveal. We can actually point the camera at the thing that's moving. We pan with the movement, and then we stop at the item or the thing we want to reveal. Now we've added some dynamic movement to a shot. It's super smooth, super smooth because a fluid video head is dampened, so it allows you to create this very smooth movement. So even if you're a little bit inconsistent with the pressure that you're putting on the end of the handle, you're still going to get a very fluid movement. So we're going to start here. We're going to slowly pan over. We're going to reveal our thing, and then we're going to sort of stay in place. Once again, giving you dynamics to the shot without adding a gimbal, without adding a slider, without adding a lot of size or cost. The other thing you're often going to commonly see is a tilt reveal. And that's where we've got something probably pointed down at the ground, and then we just slowly come up until we reveal the thing that we want to reveal, and then we just hold that shot in place. That is a tilt reveal. We can also do that with the sky. We've got just a bit of the sky or a blue sky or some clouds moving, and we just slowly tilt down, and reveal our subject. Once again, we're adding dynamic movement. We're adding interest to the shot in a way that is very simple, very portable. The other place you might see this used is in sports, or when you've got moving subjects that you want to follow around. Now, there's a couple different things you can do. If those subjects that you're following are just staying on the same level, you can actually lock the tilt axis in place. So I'm going to lock that tilt axis in place with this one. Now it's locked in place. Now I can't move that up and down, and I can just pan back and forth. So now I'm going to stay right on the level, and I'm going to be able to pan back and forth. This could be good for sports, kids sports, professional sports, racing cars. Rather than handheld, where it's all going to be jittering and bouncing around and going up and down, you're going to be able to do a smooth follow like this. Now, if the things aren't going to stay on the same plane, you can loosen this, and now you've got your sort of full following. But all of your motion is going to be very smooth, so you're going to be able to follow things without making people sort of ill and sick like you would with handheld footage. It's going to get all jittery and jumpy. So that's going to be able to follow things with a really smooth motion. And probably the biggest advantage of this particular head versus any of the other heads that I have tested or seen is the fact that it is extremely portable and extremely small. Once again, it's hardly any bigger than the ball head. And you've got that handle that collapses down. You can then sort of put your handle up like this and tighten it in place, or when you fold your tripod down, you can put it down like this and fold it in place. I also have the ability to balance the camera, and what I want to do is when I put my camera on there, I slide this back and forth until I get a perfect balance. That actually makes it easier to get the fluid movement because you have the camera balanced, the center of the gravity of the camera balanced over the top of the tripod. So if you've never heard of a video head or you've never tried a video head before, this is a really budget-friendly, small way to get involved and try it and see if you can really upgrade your footage by using one. And certainly it is a much smaller investment than a slider or a gimbal. So if you haven't used one and you don't know about them, I recommend that you try one out, and this is probably the best one for the money that I know about. And if you're interested in getting the best in photo and video with the gear that you can afford or the gear that you already have, that's what I do on this channel. So be sure to subscribe to the channel and don't forget to hit that bell notification.